What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched episode 8 of season 2 of Frieren. We're going to be talking full spoilers ahead, so hopefully you've had a chance to watch this crazy episode, and we'll do a real quick recap. It was a big fight. The whole episode was a big fight, well animated. We'll talk about that, but basically the key points that happen here is Stark and Ganao fought the four-armed sword guy. Big crazy battle. They're all over the place. They do some trickery with the demon playing as a kid. Ganao goes to help the kid when he has the demon against the wall, and the demon ends up stabbing him pretty bad, to the point where he kind of thinks things are, at their end, and then Stark pulls one of many crazy things that he does in this episode to help, and they continue the fight with the four-armed sword guy. Eventually, I'm just going to do this fight, so I'm not bouncing between the two things. They're basically two different events that happened. When they're in the middle of the fight, he goes feral. They start breaking his swords. Eventually, they disarm him, but then he uses his arms as weapons and punches them through both of them, and they are able to, after that point, Stark slices them up with his axe with some crazy move that I don't remember him doing before.
He's done it once before when he fought the girl who mimicked
yeah. And then Ganao does something in German and
bladed feathers, basically.
Yeah, and then they defeat the dude, but they are both fatally wounded, and they both just take a nap. While that was happening, we have Fern and Methoda, while Frieren's just kind of watching and smiling somewhere.
She got popcorn.
Fighting their respective demons with the fog and all that stuff. Methoda is kind of toying with the person who's more of a traditional combat type demon, with really great animations. That whole fight, the way they're moving, looked fantastic. But basically, she's studying the fog while keeping this person busy, and then getting rid of the fog. All the while, Fern is kind of on defense, just trying to survive against the person they're fighting against. Eventually, when the fog clears, Fern just disappears and then plays Sniper Elite and starts popping people off from a distance. Just clean shots, everyone's dead. Fern doesn't want to do it again. She doesn't want to have that fight again. It was very inconvenient for her, but Frieren is proud of her. They end up going back, and Methoda is able to, luckily, bring Ganao and Stark back from the precipice of death. She prioritized Stark over Ganao, because that's probably what Ganao would have wanted anyway. But yeah, even when Ganao comes back, he's like, "Oh, you stopped me from dying again," or whatever. So he's just kind of ready to go. They go their own respective ways, but Methoda says that after this assignment, she will have some free time and she could be their priest. But they say they have a priest already, and that is Sign.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his name, but I guess I didn't forget his name. And yeah, also Fern just gets really weird and protective because she doesn't really like when Methoda's around, because she's creepy towards Frieren and everybody. And yeah, they have a send-off for the dudes in their graves, and anything else major that's not a detail.
I mean, those are the story beats.
So. Yeah, it's a big fight. The whole episode was a big fight. The big fight I was hoping for and waiting for, and I got. I'm happy with that. But let's talk about it. What do we think of this episode?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic episode.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not a heavy story episode. It was Madhouse showing off, as they are very capable of doing. The animation was crazy in this episode. The fight scenes were also just super well done. One of the things I know we had kind of brought up, I think you mostly brought up last time we talked about this, was being curious about how Ganao was going to fight, because he mentioned having a magic style that shouldn't exist, right? Basically, and then
yeah, and he's basically the dude from Crimson Desert, just flying around like in a weird winged feather thing. Like,
well, it's just interesting, yeah, that his magic is to create wings, and then those feathers can turn into blades, which is kind of similar to the guy who would make flower petals into blades. So I wonder if it's like a similar like school, basically, or thought process.
Maybe.
Anyways, but the way they animated the way he fought was crazy looking. Like, he would just like, ball up, which I kind of expect as a defense move, but he would just do it like mid-flight and just all of a sudden ball up and then spin like a saw and jab with him and stuff. I don't know. There was a lot of imagination put in the way he fought fights, and it was like just really cool to watch. Also, getting to see Stark actually do at least half the episode worth of fighting, so like 10-12 minutes worth of fighting.
Yeah,
was awesome.
it's cool to see him fight.
He's also like, it's fun because like he's obviously still young and inexperienced in a lot of this, and so like he's still kind of learning it, but like you could tell a lot of those things he was taught from Eisen, or like will kick in moments. Like he will just do some crazy stuff sometimes, like when he's spinning around with his axe out and just lobs it at the guy. Like I was like, okay, that's a way to do that.
I said it while we were watching it too, but while they're fighting up there, I'm like, it'd be funny if like Stark. Literally, I was thinking this while I was watching. I'm like, it'd be funny if Stark just threw his axe up there, but then what does he do without an axe? Because he can't really fight without one. And then he hucked the axe. I'm like, oh shit, he's doing it. Yeah. And then he goes up there and grabs him. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, he just climbed up there like a monkey and just jumped on dude's back.
And the way they animated that too is really good looking. The way he was like run. I'm not used to seeing Stark move. Yeah. Most of the time, most episodes, he's just standing there,
real like calm,
next to Fern, hanging out, and talking or whatever, and looking like sad because someone said something. But seeing him like running, climbing stuff, I'm just like, oh shit, I forgot Stark can even do. Like I know he can swing his axe, but I forget that he has that kind of warrior mobility, I guess, because he's also like a frontliner, so he's there to block attacks and stuff for the party, which he did do to give them the edge the first time in the fight. When the sword guy went to attack him, he went to block it after Ganao told him not to do it, and then he took the hit on purpose.
Which you've seen him do a couple times now.
Yeah, so he needs to stop doing that. Anyway.
Yeah, he definitely is a risk versus reward kind of fighter for sure.
He's also, as a character, somebody who's willing to put himself before the team to sacrifice himself basically for them. So it makes sense.
And then even like Ganao, right? He's like a mage, but he would just take hits and just shrug it off. Like
multiple times it was kind of implied too that he's like kind of waiting to die almost.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's kind of his mentality. Because when he got stabbed, he was like not like worried about it. He was just like, oh, fuck, okay, like here we go.
Well, I also like too when they started wearing him down, because they kind of explained as well, because the swords are magic. They had him so like battered and frazzled that he couldn't concentrate on holding a spell anymore, and so his swords were just deteriorating at that point.
It's cool too to see his demeanor change over the fight.
Yeah, I mean, he was like calm at first.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm fucking this powerful swordsman or whatever, and then they start breaking his swords and stuff. He starts like, he's not like necessarily like freaking out scared, but he's like getting more intense on the way.
They referred to him as feral in that moment. Yeah,
he's like going crazy and attacking them more often and stuff. So,
but I mean, demons are also like essentially beasts, right?
Yeah.
So like that was probably more akin to their nature at that point. And then the stretchy arm thing or whatever, and Stark freeing himself, and then he went to use that other arm to swing at him, but Ganao was just like, nah, I'm just gonna hold on to this.
Yeah.
So no, that fight was dope. I loved it a lot. Also that I can't remember that demon's name, but him just slithering up the buildings and stuff, the way they had like the quote unquote camera panning behind him as he was like traveling, insane looking. So
yeah, looked good.
Yeah.
I also like the part too where Ganao got stabbed, and then the stupid little demon was like, well, I got him, and the instantly just killed
him right through him.
Just killed him instantly. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and then like he's sitting there like, I knew there were no survivors. Why did I do that? Yeah. So.
And then gave the demon his moment of going, humans like to do this. It's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, his moment of victory, right?
All the demons in the show are like, humans fucking think and feel too much. And it's like, okay, well, you're going to die anyway, so who cares?
Yeah.
Maybe you could learn something.
Yeah, awesome fight. I'll probably rewatch this episode.
I wanted to after we finished it, but I was like, we got to film.
Yeah.
But there was so much in the fight scene that I'm like, I feel like I should rewatch that.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
And then the other fight was more like what we're used to, where there was a mage fight, a more traditional mage fight. Not that Ganao's not a mage, obviously. But it was fun to watch someone other than, Frieren and Fern fight, right? Because even Fern in this situation, she's only really trained in fundamentals, and so she was kind of on the run. And her biggest strength against demons that she learned from Frieren was to hide herself, and in that fog she couldn't, and so she was kind of just against the wall the whole time.
Well, I welcome seeing other people fight too on behalf of their side, because as much as I love watching the scenes. They always do a really good job at like the timing of when they shoot people. But with Fern and Frieren, it's every episode, not every episode. Most fights are like them just like pulling out their blickies and just blasting.
Yeah.
They're just like popping, and that's it. And it's awesome, but it's cool to see someone else do a little bit different. Obviously, there's a couple parts where she's shot her, which looked cool. But she was doing some cool like what I don't know what she was doing, but she's like turning like fake versions of herself in the fog, like touching or whatever.
Oh, Methode.
Yeah.
They're basically like images of herself.
Yeah, which was cool. So it's a little bit of a change up from what I'm used to.
Yeah, but with the Fern part, the part I thought was fun was that because that guy basically created the fog, he was also creating an illusion of himself as well. As sometimes we'd see his image was kind of like blinking back and forth because he could use the fog as camouflage. And Fern like busts out, I don't know how many Zoltrax. It was like a dome of them. It was crazy looking, and she still missed the guy. So like, she was definitely at a huge disadvantage. And then going to Methode, that fight was dope. First off, I love the fact that she was fighting against a person who was just wielding a katana, which is a little different than we're used to seeing anyways. But then obviously the demon's magic was to do shockwave attacks basically with the blade. But watching the way Methode could like very agilely, like at one point she does like this really like graceful backflip and almost kicks the demon in the face. It was like really cool looking, and then just was immediately ready to continue fighting. So the show really makes mages not just like your stereotypical I stand here, cast nuke, type of thing. There's a lot of really creative ones. I've said this since the first season, but I love the way they handle magic.
Well, it's interesting too, and I'm not going to talk about the other show because that's not what we're reviewing here, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who's not watching that show. But JJK handles sorcery in a really interesting way.
True.
It reminds me a lot. The whole show and manga remind me a lot of Nachnoi Dozer, but where like sorcerers have like specific abilities, but they're like bizarre and weird and unique.
Yeah.
This show kind of has that too, but it does lean further into more traditional magic fundamentals. But then when you get someone like Genau, it's like, oh, magic can do that as well. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, and then he also makes the point of saying his magic is not, basically, it's very unorthodox.
Yeah,
so
which is cool because it makes him seem like, someone who's playing outside the box of what the basic fundamentals are.
Yeah.
Whereas you see with Fern, because she learned from Frieren a lot of stuff, but they're very similar in that they're basically casting from their staff a lot. And
yeah, the most basic spell a lot of times, unless Frieren decides to pull out the tricks, which at the end of last season. But she's also says all the time, you don't need any other spells because most mages can't handle just a basic attack. So
yeah.
So yeah, anyways, the fight with Methode and the katana demon though was like a lot of fun, and then kind of seeing a similar mentality of when like Frieren was like, I gotta get rid of this dome last season because like it's not fair that this mage can't function because there's no water nearby. Methode was like, if I can get rid of this fog, me and Fern can fight together basically. And so like she's like, okay, this is the plan. And then she starts, like you had said, kind of toying with the other demon, making all those images of herself. And then the demon finally kind of starts catching on. But at that point, it was too late because she had analyzed the spell. But it was cool seeing all those images. And then like that spell she kept using with the orbs.
The balls,
and then she could bring them back too, which was kind of cool. Really, really fun fight. Loved it a lot. And then, of course, the moment the fog goes away, Fern's gone. She's like, oh, I can use my strengths again. Hide my mana. I'm going to leave their mana detection range. I'm just snipe them.
Hit him with the railgun.
So, really cool. Love this episode. They ended on a good note, too. We also got, confirmation they haven't forgot about Assign. I hope we can see him again.
I did.
Yeah.
They mentioned him like, oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah. And then I was talking to you after we watched the episode, and you were kind of reminding me of it. I was like, oh, yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that dude.
Yeah, dude's a lot of fun.
So he was a cool character.
I really hope we see him again.
I kind of feel like we will.
Yeah.
The way they
portrayed it there.
They brought him up again.
Yeah. And then also they've handled just like seeing the way we like see characters we met in the mage exam, there we go, part. They handled that pretty well too, because we've seen a couple people now, and they showed up obviously for like a moment. Like I can't remember dude's name, but he uses the real short wand, and they tried to steal Stark. So, but yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. It was a great episode. It was a lot of fun to watch. I'm definitely gonna watch it again when I have some time. So.
Yeah. Not to extend this any further, we're already 15 minutes into this, but basically agree with everything you said. I already discussed a lot of that stuff, but major highlights are just like the fight scenes were great. I really enjoyed watching Stark actually fight and not just block stuff or, get flung into a building and then, it gets taken care of by somebody else. He was actually like a key role of this fight and, key part of the success of this fight. Without him, it wouldn't have gone well. Genau was cool to see him fight. I think he's an interesting character. A little cliche in some ways, but his fighting style is really neat. And you need like a down kind of like, whatever, I don't care if I die kind of character. So, he fits that mold well. And he was a lot of fun in that scene. And then, the way the fight was animated was fantastic. I forget sometimes that this show is going to show stuff like that. So, because a lot of the fight scenes, and they're always fun, but like a lot of them are just like, a result of a conflict. And this was like a full on fight scene. It was like the whole episode, and it was really cool to watch. And it was cool seeing them almost die because, at least there's an illusion of stakes there.
Which actually I really appreciate because I always tell time it's a lot more exciting for things to be it's a lot more exciting to watch something that has risk, right? And like
sure.
People take damage in the show. So like they're not just invincible, even though obviously they're the main characters. I did actually think Genau might die.
I thought he was going to die.
Yeah.
It would have made sense.
Stark
I'm surprised
was
he
fine.
didn't.
We all knew that.
Yeah. When he got stabbed through, I'm like, he's fine. He's not gonna, they're going to fucking kill him like that. They would have to really build it up into a big moment, and they didn't. So he's going to be completely fine. But Genau, I thought he was going to, like, oh, we only had enough to, bring Stark back or something.
Right.
I'd be like, that sucks, but it makes sense. The other fight was a lot of fun too, like I had mentioned already. But the way I was really impressed with the whole episode, the budget they put into, animate it. But the sword wielding demon, the way that they animated her movements was really cool looking. I mean, she was like juking, moving, getting low, rolling out of the way and stuff. And I was like, that looks really fucking cool.
Yeah.
They also did a good job on like giving her very samurai-esque swings because they were like one precise swing and then she would like move or whatever, and it looked really good. It was also cool seeing Methode fight. She's different than the other two, so that was cool. Also her techniques and basically seeming like she was not in danger at all. She just seemed like she was toying with the person the whole time, basically buying time. So that makes her a little more creepy in a different way, and being dangerous than just thinking everyone's cute and wanting to pet them.
I got that vibe in her first season too, because she comes off like almost like non-existent, and then she starts fighting, and she's just countering everyone's attacks. I'm like, okay. And then like
that's why she's so carefree, because she's fucking dangerous.
Well, and then when there were all the mimics or golems of all the people as well, she like just was like, I'll take Fern. I could probably take Fern, and then like she did no problem. So it was just kind of interesting to see. But anyways,
and then seeing Fern handle the situation on her own, which she was basically just kind of surviving. She wasn't doing like amazing, which is fine. But then once the fight got into more her realm, it ended really quick. Like without that fog, I guess they were nothing because she dispatched them like they were nothing. And so it's really interesting that fog was such a big, there's their only thing that was keeping them alive in that fight.
Yeah.
Because once it went away, Fern just went to routine and murdered him instantly. So it's just like, whatever. So I thought that's kind of an interesting contrast to see, like, she's on the run the whole time until the fog goes away. And she's just like, bop, bop. And it's over. I'm like, okay.
I like how like her one strength, is like she could just shoot instantly, or two strengths, I guess. She could shoot instantly, and she could like hide her mana because that's what
she's a sniper.
She was told to her basically forever by Frieren, because that's how Frieren was taught. And then the moment she could hide her mana, she's like, I'm gone.
Yeah, she got her ghillie suit on and she went and just took him out
instantly.
And I was like, okay. And then she didn't like it. Like she's like, okay, I don't want to do that again.
I was stressed out. I hated it.
Yeah. And then the send off was fun. I for a split second when Methoda even had brought up that she could stick around, I'm like, what would that look like? That would change the whole show. It wouldn't even be bad. I'm just curious. And also they've had characters stick around for like 3 episodes and then disappear, so it wouldn't be that crazy because the show's like a chronicle. It's going to continue beyond this event, and so that would just be a small portion of the whole story. But I was like, if she hangs out, it's gonna be kind of weird. But nope, they were upfront with her about, nah, we're good. We got somebody else that we're hoping to meet up with. So so that tells me they'll definitely run into him again, because they wouldn't have even brought it up otherwise, I don't think so. But yeah, overall, it was a really good episode. Really enjoyed it. It was definitely the payoff I was expecting and hoping for, plus more. And really curious to see how they conclude this season and the inevitable long wait till whatever the fuck they do after this. Because as you guys probably already know, there's nothing else to go off of after this. So there's no next season.
No ETA. Yeah.
And I hope they don't just make one to make one. And because as much as they're doing a great job animating this, I always kind of hate when people go off of the original source material, because that source material was good for a reason, and now you're making your own thing with these characters, and it's not going to be the same. So I hope they don't do that. So it's going to be a long wait. But anyway, excited to see how they finish off this season, and looking forward to it. Got anything else?
I was just going to say, I think it's hilarious that both this and JJK, I know we're not talking about JJK, but just to kind of see some fun comparisons here. They took a break the same week. They did setup at the same time before that break, and then they had a pop-off episode at the same time. Been really weird. So
yeah, that was really weird. It's like they're working together, except for they're not. Completely different studios. So
yeah, the timing was crazy, because they basically did the same thing for 3 weeks. So
yeah, and speaking of JJK, we did our review of the last episode recently. If you want to go check that out, YouTube is not pushing out our JJK episodes for some reason, but people are seeing the Frieren ones, so glad somebody's seeing something. But yeah, if you're curious about our thoughts on that, if you're watching that, go check that out. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think about this episode. What were your favorite parts, least favorite parts? If you have any complaints at all, if you want to talk about that, you can. But yeah, maybe there's something in the episode that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about. Let's talk about it in the comments. And yeah, favorite things. What'd you think of Ganao fighting? What'd you think of Methoda? What do you think about Frieren proving herself with her sniper abilities and taking out the Blicky and pop taking people out? And where do you think things are going? Let you know. Please don't tell us. And yeah, recommendations for anything you'd like us to watch, let us know. We can't watch it for sure this season, but next season we'll take it into consideration, as we have like 1 show we're dedicated to maybe next season, and we got 3 we're catching up on. We'll be doing that soon. And we are, watching JJK right now, doing episodic reviews. We're doing episodic reviews of this. We're going to be doing a season review of Trigun. We already started watching that, and we're going to be doing a season review of Hell's Paradise Season 2. And there's a 5th one that we're looking at. And there's another fucking thing that we're gonna. There's so many things to watch. So we'll start knocking some of those out and free up some time for things. But let us know what we should watch in the comments. I've been Seth. This has been Chevy. Until the next review, we will talk to you guys later.